Well, that's not. My microphone was off. Good evening, everybody. And I know it's
Good way to
been,
start. Yeah.
yeah, a good way to start, right? Like, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
How has everybody been? It's been a while. How long, Steve?
A while. 4 months.
4 months. I know things have been a little bit, how do we put it?
A little bit of anything would be an understatement.
I mean, yeah, he said that, but, um, so yeah, so a lot has changed over the past, couple of months, I should say. Over the past few days.
Well, the biggest changes have happened between the last week.
The last week, basically. Well,
Right.
we're
Right.
still in the week, basically. It's not that much of a drastic change. But,
I find it to be a drastic change, but still.
well, praise God for that.
It's a beautiful drastic change, but still it's a change.
It's still a change. So,
For the people who don't know what we're talking about, it's no longer two seminarians talking,
no, it's not.
only one seminarian talking. So I present to Reverend Deacon David Villafana.
Hello, everybody.
Deacon since Monday.
The 5th of January,
Uh-huh.
2026.
Right. So it's been a very different 4 months that have passed.
It has. It has.
Many things have changed. Many beautiful graces we have seen in those 4 months, and many things we
Hmm.
didn't talk about or get to talk about.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we will see if we get some time off
Hmm.
for the Reverend to do some podcasts for you all. If
Hopefully.
not, you know why.
Well, that's true. I mean, the Reverend has been, revving things up since, um, I guess even before the ordination, things have been, a roller coaster of events for me. I mean, the graces upon the graces. Um, I guess we could talk about it in terms of like how it unfolded because for both of us, well, particularly for me, um, this ordination has been nothing but the fastest, the most shortest time to plan an ordination ever because usually being a seminarian for me the ordinations usually be like about 2 months minimum and I
Of
had
preparation.
of preparation literally 2 months and I had 38 days to plan an ordination which I did it with an amazing team. Shout out to if I had to shout out everybody right now, it might take forever.
No, you did that in mass already. Let's
Yeah,
if they want to
yeah,
know, just go to the live stream of the ordination mass, and you can
correct.
see the thank you, the thank you list that comes after.
Shout out to the Sandy Grandy Facebook page slash YouTube page. You can get it at St. Francis of Assisi in Sandy Grandy. Um,
Right.
and also Desiree, thank you for joining us live. Number one server in the in the ordination itself. Big of her. She led the ordination very well. Alongside with Franklin Mirage and a few other servers. It was for me it was a beautiful moment because it was both Sandy Grande and my home parish of Holy Cross who served in all of it. And um, it was like amazing to see like the different communities that I served and continue to serve who was there at Mass today. Big up number one boy Enrique, big up you. Um, Enrique is a friend of mine from the vicinity of Corial. But anyway, um, so yeah, so let's talk about like the inception of this thing like going on. I think it was quite interesting how it happened. Steve, what number were you? I can't remember. Like you were number what did I tell?
I don't remember either.
I don't remember. It was like right. You were number five actually.
I just remember you knocking at that same door,
Hmm.
entering into the room, and
Hmm.
tell me call Stephanie. And as soon as I hear call Stephanie, I felt my blood turn cold
Hmm.
because I was like, okay, it's about to go down. And that is exactly, you told us the date that was decided, and
Mhm.
the time that you had to prepare. And I think I can speak for both me and Stephanie at that moment that we were as scared as you were, and as worried as you were
I was shaking like a
for the.
leaf when it was time to come and
Oh
tell
yeah,
the both
no,
of
no,
you.
no, no, no. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then me waiting for you to actually say it, I was shaking.
Yeah, you were shaking. Like you were literally holding my hand and it's like I was
Yeah,
like,
because he didn't come into the room and say this is the date that has been decided. No, he wanted to do a whole story around it, and suspense, 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 suspense.
well, I guess that's what happens when you're dealing with a filmmaker. So, just saying
Right.
creative.
And
So,
then, but tell us, in those 30 days, little both I don't know much of what happened between
ooh,
in those 30.
ooh. Well, buckle up your
I
seatbelts,
know you
boys and
went to
girls.
retreat. You went to retreat for a week, which
Yes,
is which is something that, for those who do not know, is a custom that.
Desiree's comment is making me crack up. But,
Well, yeah, you had to wait.
so, I guess I can start from the beginning, but I'm not going to be as prolonged as I was on that night because I think, in doing the vote of thanks, it was just I think I was very emotional, very spirit filled, very in the moment, more or less. But now I think, like I've come down the ladder a bit. I've managed to settle down a lot, focusing on the graces that took place. But when I got the news, it was on my nephew's birthday actually. It was the 25th of November. That's how long I knew. So it was in the evening, and Father Steve came to me and he said, David, brace yourself. It looked like your ordination coming soon. And I was like, what? I was like, what does that mean? He's like, David, it's time. It's time. It's time. I was like, did you speak to the bishop or something? He's like, maybe. And he's like, I was like, how Father Steve could be. And
Mhm.
um, when I went upstairs, I literally was about to jump in the shower. Like, just I was on the phone. The last person I was talking to was Father Jeffrey. I said, nah, it is late because I had a full day of ministry. And I said, okay, fine. Change my clothes. Then all of a sudden, on my phone, Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon. So I said, hold up, wait a minute. So he called and he was like, how you going? You ain't find this ordination take too long. Don't answer that. I was like, okay. So here's what, right? I'm looking at some possible days. I'm looking at um, January 31st. I'm also looking at, I think it was December 28th, which was the Feast of the Holy Family, was another date.
Yeah, I remember you told me that, and that means that it would have been earlier and
Than expected.
30 days of preparation.
And then he goes, okay, well, then I think January the 5th. So I was like, January the 5th. Okay. So my body just started to shake, and I'm literally butt naked in front of the shower going to bed. So I just grabbed my towel quickly, run straight, dart across the corridor, go to Father Steve's room. Father, I get it, I get it, I get it. And he's there with his glasses reading his book, like, just drop everything and just goes in the side. Like the phone just goes kilkity off of one side of the bed. And it was just like, I don't know what to think. So like my hands were literally shaking. I was like, is this real? So he was like, okay, we fixed it January the 5th. How that feeling? Don't answer. I was like, okay. So
So so so so basically, you were told
he was
January 5th. That's it.
that's it.
Imagine if it was December 28th, like right after Christmas.
It would have been
It's
clashed.
yeah, and all of the hype of this Christmas season is right still there. New Year's coming up. It would have been right in the middle of everything.
That's right.
I think it was wise in many ways to put it on the 5th.
January the 5th, exactly.
Right.
So, um, so interestingly enough, the feast of the January the 5th was Saint John Newman, and he's an
Hmm.
American, not Jesuit, sorry, he's an American Redemptorist. Jeez, Father Peter, I'm sorry for that one. He's a Redemptorist priest and bishop, and he's the first American saint. So I had to do some intensive research on, who is this guy? And, how come the Ashaites don't celebrate him? And then it's like, okay, Redemptorist, okay, fine, sure. But in listening to his story, I was like, okay, it speaks to me. So I guess God speaks in his timing, and his timing is forever perfect. Um, But anyway, skipping ahead of that, I'm not going theological into all of that. So,
No, but even if you touch the theology part, I would say it's right there around Epiphany. It's in Christmas season, which is very unique for an ordination to take place in the Christmas period. And the beautiness of Christmas is still going on as it will continue until this Sunday. So, and especially Epiphany, it was a very,
and there was
very
also one
interesting.
significant moment that surrounded it as well. I was the last to be ordained before the Jubilee doors were closed in Rome.
Yes, correct. You were ordained literally the day before the Jubilee year ends.
So when all of that came up, I was like, okay, so I'm still being ordained in the Jubilee, even though we closed our Jubilee doors on the Feast of the Holy Family. Now, providing if I did get the Feast of the Holy Family, then it would have been a huge clash because it would be ordination, closing. How does this work? So I guess the spirit in his wisdom decided here's what, January the 5th. When that happened, I remember Father Jason called me and he was like, we need to meet. And at this point in time, only three people knew, which was myself, mom, and Father Steve. And what happened at that point, boy? When they knew, we was like, do not tell anybody. So Father Steve and mommy was like, mind you, at this point, my brother and my sister found out. Father Jeffrey found out. My cousins found out. And I'm like, geez, thanks for not telling anybody. And on Father Steve's side, he was like, I'm not telling anybody, which he really stuck to it. Like he faithfully stuck to it until I found out from someone else, from his contacts, the same week. I was like, this bless God. So So after all of that that took place, I went to see Father Jason, and then that same evening, I had to go to the Archbishop's house for an overnight. And the overnight was basically to just, talk about the graces, have the last rough conversation before the diaconate,
Yeah,
which
that's the
really,
day we found out.
yes. So,
After that meeting, the father, you told us.
right, so I'm getting to that. So Steve and Stephanie, or immediately after, big up Stephanie, immediately after Father Jason had a huge, like, I don't know, this was the first time I saw Father Jason like totally animated. Not to say that he's not, but in this case, he was just like totally animated. Like he was happy, he was thrilled, he prayed over me. And it was like at that point, I was just still stunned by the news. Like, like January 5th is actually going to take place. And as soon as that happened, I went to the chapel and I was so like total ADHD. I was just like, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, what do I do? Just like confused. But at the same time, I was like, I was giving thanks. And I rushed straight down the corridor because Steve's room is at the end of the
Yeah,
seminary.
the chapel is one way. The my room is all the other way.
So I rushed all the way down, make sure no one saw me. Thankfully, everybody was in exams during that time period. So it was like
Mhm.
study.
I don't
101.
remember what I was even doing.
You in your room painting statues for Saint Joseph, and you were talking about the skin that you got through for
I was painting. Most
you
likely, I was painting it.
exactly. And I dashed in the room and I was like, Steve, call Stephanie. I didn't say anything else other than that. I just said,
No,
call
only that.
Stephanie.
Steve called Stephanie.
Call Stephanie.
Where's the phone?
And he couldn't find the phone, like he was in his room. It was just like scattered, like all this sort of thing. And then when Stephanie called, then okay, we did the group call, and then it was like tears. It's like when I broke the news, it was like excitement, it was like tears, it was like what we going to do, and and then we just sat there and we were just like in the moment, kind of a thing. And then I went to the next two people to tell them because I talked to Father Jason before, and I was like, I wanted the seminarians to sing because at that point in time, I said to myself, okay, the seminarians usually come on ordination and they sit. That's all they do. They sit and they
Hmm.
watch. And year after year, time after time, my 6 years in the seminary,
Well, we pray as well, no?
well, true. Because technically it was 5 years in the seminary, 1 year away. So during my time period, I'm always hearing seminarians complain, like, why we not serving? Why we not doing anything in the mass? We just sit down and watch. Like, we could do more with our tears. So I felt the need, like, the spirit moved me to make my ordination inclusive of them. And they got the best seats in the house.
Yes, we did.
They got the
Yes, we
best
did.
seats in the house. Like, it was interesting. So after that, I went to Jameek and Luke. Um, couldn't find Henry that evening. I don't know where Henry was, but to God be praised. I was looking for Samuel as well, but I couldn't find Samuel. Samuel, like he was deep in thesis, and um, I was like, guys, I got a date. And like Luke was the most excited. Like he was just like mind blown, and I was just like, I like how he's happy for me.
Remind me of that story needs to be told as well.
Yes,
When you finish.
that's your story to tell because I'm just anyway. So yeah, so they were mind blown. They were like all for it and everything, and I was like, sure. So after I left, I went to the Archbishop. I did my overnight. Had a very, I think it was one of the most, one of the most progressive and beautiful encounters I've had with him. Not to say that it hasn't been in the past. It's just that at this time he saw all of the growth come into the one man that evening, and it was like he was sure of the man that he was going to be a deacon at this point in time. He was going to be Reverend Deacon.
Mm.
And after that, straight into planning. Had to call
Straight to the point.
straight into planning. So pull my team together, pull out the whiteboard first actually. I wrote everything down because Father Steve always says, take everything from here, put it here. Let's get everything decluttered from here, in here. Who you want to do this, who you want to do that, what's going on here, what's going on. So I wrote everything down. I could even bring the whiteboard to show you it's still there. And he was showing it off today. Like he was just so proud to just like, we had everything down. And then had to call for retreat. Thought I was getting
Mhm.
retreat at the end of the month, got it at the early part of the month. So I had a 7 day silent retreat, which was so silent. But anyway, during the retreat at the seminary, this is what happened.
Well, no, I wanted to say, when you came and told us
Mm-hmm.
about the date, we got strict instructions not to tell anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that he went and say to other seminarians what he just said. So
Mm-hmm.
of course, Luke is one of the closest in the house with me. And at dinner time, we were standing in line, and he comes and stand next to me, and was looking down on me and said, "Did you see David today?" And I did not look up because I was like, "I can't look up. I can't look up." I was like, "No," with my eyes looking down. I said, "No." No, I said yes, yes. It was like he didn't say anything to you. I was like, no. Looking down, and I was like, please don't look at me. Please don't look at me. Please don't ask anything else. Please don't like, don't ask anything else. And I was like, oh, okay. Little to find out the next day, they said, oh no, I told Luke. I said, and I had to keep it in. I had to keep it in, not to burst at Luke. And you told Luke already, but yeah,
Yes, I did.
when we found when we found out, especially about we were singing, that when we
Hmm.
found out that we were singing, Father Jason didn't want to say it at first. Didn't want to say, you guys have been requested to sing for the ordination. So we were sitting at dinner, and he started a whole story of we have to leave for Christmas and whatever, and he started saying, yeah, well, we will have to come back on January 2nd, because you have been requested to sing on January 5th. By now, I know already what he's talking about, but the rest of them don't know what he's talking about. So some of them, you can see the questions arising in their eyes, like, who is going to ask us to sing on January
January the
2nd, or January 5th,
5th.
meaning that we would have to practice on January 3rd, January 4th, and Father now saying something that we need to come during our vacation time to practice. Who is this? Who is going to ask us? And I already told her, I quiet, I say nothing. And Father is beating around the bush and going in circles and going in circles until he was like, yeah, David's getting ordained. And then everyone's eyes popped up.
Wow.
And
What a
by
good
that
way to
time,
say
of
I'm being
course,
ordained.
yeah, by that time, of course, everyone was on board to sing. Um, those who even had a little bit of doubt of that was crushed one time with other
Mm.
seminarians.
Mm.
And not me. I
Mm.
can proudly say not me, but
Mm.
still, we were the next day. We planned everything out on what we are going to do and how we're going to tackle this. When
Mm.
we are going to come back to the seminary to practice during our vacation,
Big up Daniel.
making sure
Mhm.
that we come back in time on Friday, so that on Saturday we could practice the whole day. Then Sunday go to Grandy to practice, and then Monday morning still had a small little practice. So the seminarians literally put a lot of effort into singing and playing that day,
Mm.
and it was we did our best. I hope you guys liked it, and
You
but
did your
coming
best.
from
You did God a favor, basically, if I have to put it that way. You did God, the church and people a favor, but that's just me
but
being
coming from
extra.
sitting up there, it was one of the best. And happy as well that Stephanie could have come and join us to sing the
Hmm.
psalm. That
Hmm.
was a huge honor for us as well, and of course she enjoyed being with her brothers again, and seeing the elder brother getting
Yeah,
ordained.
yeah, even though most people were like, I didn't know you had a female seminarian. And I was like, yeah, we do. I big up Stephanie, right? Would. Um, but what was also interesting for me was even before going to retreat, because I had a few days before going, because I think he broke the news after I told you. But
Yeah,
after
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was like
A
a
few
night or two.
days.
Yeah, a night or two after. But with me, I remember coming back to Grandy. This was like the day after. This is the day after I got the news on November, and the next day was a Wednesday, and Father and I was like full of adrenaline. Like we couldn't sleep the night before. We was just so excited, and we would just like pull out plan paper one time. It was like I just went on my iPad and I was like, yeah, 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 weird. What do I have to go and do? We were just excited. I didn't sleep that night. He probably got like 2 hours. I got none. And the next day, we went to a school. We did a school mass to close off before they went into exam. And I was just like on cloud nine. Like he asked me to preach, and everybody was just so engaged and laughing. And I was talking about licks and all this sort of thing. And I was just I can't remember what I said half of the time, and I just said it. And then came back here now because Father Steve had a meeting at 2. So Father asked me to do the service here. And there were a lot of pilgrims and everything there. And I remember starting all this service in like this hype mood. I was like, God is good. And everybody's just there like, did Brother David and I was like, can't you feel it? God is good. Give some praise to God today. Yes, yes, yes.
You were in the mood, you were
I
in the
was
spirit.
I was full. Like the spirit was just like up. And I was just like, I don't understand. And like all I had was one cup of Milo for the day. And if anybody knows with Milo, I am so
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, that could have been it too.
I am so
That could
sorry.
have been
But
it.
anyway,
One cup is quite enough.
one cup is all it takes. Anyway, not me doing Dua Lipa. So I just remember that I came back in the house. I was just in a dancing mood, and I remember like Miguela coming to me afterwards, and she was like, "You all right?" And just like I'm laughing now, that's what my reaction was. And then I came in the house, and Brianna was just like, "What's gotten into you? Why are you so happy? You get your paycheck?" And I was like, Brianna, there's no such thing as a paycheck for seminarians, okay? We are St. Vincent de Paul, okay? Just letting you know that one time we are St.
Yeah,
Vincent de Paul, right? Um, so, like, I came in, there was lunch on the table. I was like, forget that. I could, like, I was just surviving on one cup of Milo and the Holy Spirit, really. And then I remember this Saturday, I started to tell a little more people because Father Steve and I was like, okay, it's about time the news has to be broken, right? We don't have much time. It's about time that we tell
yeah.
people. And that morning, I remember I called Desiree. And I was like, Desiree,
Oh, I
oh,
wish I could have heard that reaction,
Hannah, Desiree wanted to, she was so upset because she was rostered to serve on the Sunday morning, right? So I told her, it's time. So she's like, what are you talking about? So I was like, Father, you think I should tell her? And Father Steve was literally sitting on the couch and he was like, and I was like, but you're literally telling you're telling our grandmother though, like, what are you doing? So I was like, no, Father Steve told me I can't tell you. And she's just like, what do you mean? No, you need to tell me. That's how it is. All right, okay, all right, okay. And she
I wonder if she's listening now.
I don't know. She's probably cracking up in her chair. But anyway,
Mm.
so she's like, no, what do you mean? No, no. All right, okay. I'll come to church this evening. That's how the siblings is move. All right, okay. So I there and I'm just turning pink. Like how I am right now, I'm just turning pink because it's on the tip of my tongue to just see like what was going on. And she literally came to church on Saturday, and everybody was like, "Why is Desiree here? Desiree doesn't serve on a Saturday evening. She serves on a Sunday."
The
And
Desiree came for the cheese, mate. He came for
listen,
the gossip.
listen. And the thing is like Miguel is on the other side, and Miguel, like, she got a sense that, the ordination is coming, but she doesn't know the time or the date. But Desiree is just like fully sugared. Like from the time mass starts, she's sitting next to me. Usually she sits on the other side of the sanctuary. She comes and she sit down next to me and she's like, okay, and I'm just like, okay.
Desiree, we need confirmation if this is true or not, or
Yeah,
if
she's
or if David or sorry, Reverend is missing anything, leaving anything out.
yeah, you could add if I missed out anything.
Add
So
anything.
like that Saturday was just so bizarre. Like the prayer for the Advent candle, the lighting of the Advent candle was delayed. Father was mixing up prayers left, right, and center because it's like he's trying to control his enthusiasm because he's the one who's breaking the announcement, not me. And I'm literally there like the composed one, but just laughing in between because it's like I had to deal with Desiree, who's literally on my right, and Father, who's on my left, and it's like we had a farewell function for Miss Davy that evening, and It was like so many things that was going on, and then poof, announcement broke. And she's like, okay, January the 5th, okay, I'll be there to serve. And Desiree saying it like in the most composed way, but really and truly, she wanted to choke me and beat me because it's like, you can tell me this earlier.
And jump up and down in the church.
Exactly, right? And then all the other altar servers was like, oh, so you can tell me nothing. I was like, surprise, surprise. So yeah, so that was one hint of excitement that took place. Went on retreat, and it was like this month of December in particular was one of the most ministerial months of my life. Here's why. For a silent retreat where I was supposed to be like really quiet, like not saying a word, just exercising. If I had to speak, it was when it was one-on-one sessions with Father. And it was like, you see, look, Desiree confirmed there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was exactly as he said. He knew how much I was waiting for this day. Listen, Desiree has been fighting me down since I came back fully. Even before that, but when I came back fully in June, it was like every day. When is the ordination? When is the date? You know, you have the date, you know, David, why are you lying to me? And then all of a sudden, David puts up a TikTok and she's like, oh, I get offended by that. What you mean by people keep asking you about this, that, and the day? I feel offended. And I was like, are you really?
I
It was
remember
like,
that.
it was wild, right? Because it was like people in church coming and they was like, so I'm not going to ask you when it's your diaconate anymore. I was like, for real? Out of a TikTok video?
No, but I guess that was the point. I
Right?
guess that was the point.
Listen, it was so much, right? So back to what I was saying. So it was the most ministerial month of my life. So for the retreats, so what happened was I was allowed Monday, the rest of Monday evening, to have my meeting because really and truly planning took place like individually, but I had to get my group together to kind of get things in place. And then the next day, which would be day one of the official retreat, there was the liturgy training. And why do I remember so much? Anyway, so I had the meeting on Monday, and then after Monday, laptop closed, phone pushed to the drawer, complete silence. I was on retreat with three bishops: Bishop Robert Rivers, Bishop County from St. Vincent, and the Papal Nuncio, the
Hmm.
Santiago,
Santiago.
Bishop Santiago. Let me put respect on his name. And it was interesting because they wanted to talk to me. They wanted to get to know me. Their retreat was more lax than mine. So it was two different retreats in the same area.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
And they were in the main house, and I was in St. Martin's Cottage alone with Father Peter. And for the retreat, it was mostly quiet. I had a lot of fun just relaxing, distressing, praying. I hiked to Tree Pools every day from Lady Hochoi home to Tree Pools. Had deep, deep prayer in that cold, cold, cold spring water. And if you all know Tree Pools, the water could be freezing cold at Christmas time in the evening. By the time the third day, it was like I just went in the water like normal. I was like, you know what, my body's prepared for it. Go in. And those days literally felt like John the Baptist for me. One of those days I couldn't go because one of the bishops, he had an accident. He didn't take any medication that morning, and he was at adoration, and he didn't have his cane, and he slipped and he split his head, and it started to bleed. And in the middle of my silent retreat, I had to break silence, come up with the other bishops, and it was the most sacramental moment because it was the first time all of us gathered together in front of the monstrance with the bishop on the ground to pray with him, to keep him afloat, to minister to him at that point in time. And he was ministering to us. And what was interesting for me that evening was when we rushed him to hospital because I was the only young one there. So imagine me lifting up this I'm trying to be sensitive with my words. This of a bishop. Let's use the action. And it's like he's guiding me how to lift him. And the ambulance, we're trying to get him onto the tray to send him off into the van. And then when we got to the hospital, in his pain, and I think I broke down at that point in time, in his pain, he blessed me. And he was like praying for my ordination and he was doing all these sort of things. And it was, I was like, but this man is in pain. Like, how? And then his relatives came and his relatives took over. And, it was a grace moment. And even when I came back home, we gathered together and, we talked about it. And, it was really, I mean, most of it was silence, yes, but there were moments where it is that you have to realize you have to use your voice.
Right.
And, he did it in an extreme way where it felt like almost like the crucifixion, where, Christ dying, and we were at that point in time praying for him. Thank God he didn't die. But, it just felt like the crucifixion moment for me at the retreat. And where all that I was complaining about, worrying about, stressing about, just melt away. And coming back from the retreat now, we hit the floor running. So it was my major team, which was Father Steve, Father Kenwin, big up Roseanne, big up Camille, who I forgot to thank on the night of the ordination. I hope you're feeling better, Camille. Love you. Megan, um, who else? Lisa, my cousin, who handled AFA and immigration and all the sort of things. And Franklin and Marquez, who represented the liturgy. And, we had our fights. Like, don't get me wrong. The second reading, and I think Steve knows about this too. The
Yeah.
second reading was a tug and pull on Satan and me for weeks because I prayed about this. I sat in the veranda praying on that reading with Steve and Mark, big up Mark. And that reading came to me. And then Mark read the reading and he was like, this speaks to you. I was like, yeah, let's go with it. Constant tug and pull, reading change, people keep telling me all kind of thing. And then finally, coming down to the week before the
Mhm.
ordination, then even a week, mere days before the ordination,
I think it was the day before New Year's.
the day before New Year's, is where I
The
sat
day
with that
before, yeah.
computer
Uh,
and I
the day
wrote
before New Year's.
I wrote both the bishop and the people involved. And I said, I cannot go against what the prayer and the Spirit of God is telling me to choose for an ordination that speaks to the ordinate. I cannot go against that, and I'm allowing the Spirit to do this. So, besides all of that, your boy gets sick. New Year's Day. And what was
Who's
interesting,
telling this one? Who's telling this one? The one who was sick or the one who took care of the sick?
go ahead, the Good Samaritan.
Well, I opened the New Year's by him. We went for a lime in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little, some things to eat, some things to drink. Everything was going perfectly fine
Mm-hmm.
until a little before midnight, I think,
Mm-hmm.
when you started to complain that you had the cold or that you feel cold.
Feel cold. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that you feel cold. And the people that we were there were very kind and brought you a blanket, and then they brought another blanket. But he doesn't remember that he was starting to stare away. So he wasn't there in the moment anymore. He was there, but he wasn't there
Mm-hmm.
until finally both me and Father Steve started to realize, no, I think we need to go. But by
Mm-hmm.
the time we're in the cards, David is shaking, shaking, shaking. Fever is up. I started to get worried. Father Steve was getting worried, and we got him into his room upstairs. And now I, being myself the way that I am, I ain't going to no bed. I'm going to no. I can't sleep. So I wanted him to go and take a shower, but he didn't want to take a shower because he had really high fever. So I pour Maravilla water on that boy the whole night. I didn't sleep a wink because I was like, this boy is not going to die on me a few days before ordination. He's not, he's not going to die. And definitely not with me in the house. So I stayed up
Mm-hmm.
sitting on his bed like this the whole night. Every 15 minutes, checking the temperature, checking the temperature, checking the Maravilla water, Maravilla water, Maravilla water.
Mm-hmm.
And he remembered nothing of this until around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning when his fever finally went away. Then I could try and sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, why he got sick, we don't know. We can speculate. I mean, I can speculate a lot. And most of it, if I start speculating, it will become a buff. But anyways, um,
Go ahead.
why he was doing fine the whole day, and then he started to get sick. But David was very tired because, as you can hear, all those things he was going through before that day, he was very tired and he was very exhausted of everything. So it was expected for him to have a little breakdown or some way.
And it was an intense
And
Christmas season too, because it was like we had Aurora masses every morning at
Mhm.
5:15 a.m. And then afterwards, it was an intense evenings of printing programs, writing over this, doing over that, doing editing for the video for the actual invitation, shooting this, doing that. It was just crazy to ram everything down, coming down to the last few days. So my body literally like it just crashed, like
right,
system error, system 32.
that
Yeah.
little crash made Father Steve make a decision that the next day he was allowed to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so he stayed up in his room all day, just as the ordination day, and he did
Mm-hmm.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the ordination day itself
Ha!
for you.
So besides being sick, I had suffered with my voice for 3 days or so. I had no voice for a day and a half because if I tried to speak, it was like speaking like chalk on a board, like
Hmm. Hmm.
right. It was the way. So I started to break down later that evening again because I was like, what if I don't get my voice back? And what was echoing in my ears at that point in time was, David, you're going through your Zechariah moment. And everybody made a joke at me and said, I hope that when that day comes, you don't take out your iPad and write, his name is John. I was going to be like, present, and just hold up the tablets and be like, yeah, present.
I
See,
do.
church,
I
present.
do.
I do, erase. I do with the help of God. So, right. So the morning of the ordination itself, I remember getting up and I was just like, I'm getting ordained today. Okay. Then Father C wakes me up. I was up already, and then Father C comes in my room. You have to go for your haircut at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
uh,
thank God for that, though.
thank God, because I looked like the Wolverine after I was sick. And if I only had the picture to show you. Um, so
I
I got
was
the
there.
haircut. So I got the haircut it took about an hour and a half to cut all of this, make all of this. Um, got back home, poised in my room one time. Steve didn't arrive as yet. At this point, he was in the seminary,
Still practicing.
still practicing at that early morning. So I got to my room. I didn't come down until it was time for breakfast, which we were treated to a lovely breakfast. Big up Samantha. And Father Peter flew in, and then he joined us for breakfast. It was myself, Father Kenwin, Father Steve, um, Brianna, the secretary. Um, who else? We have a new priest, so Father John Bosco is with us, from Nigeria, from the VC order. Um, and he joined us, and he fits in very well. Up to this day, he fits in very well. You all will get to meet him this weekend or whenever you come to San Grande. Um, and we just
What order
sat.
is what order is again? You said BC?
VC, Vincent Johns.
Oh,
I think,
Vincent.
right. So,
BC.
um, so after all of that, because the day before was rehearsal, seminarians were there, etc., etc. But they talked about it, and the tear session started to go, and I was like, "You see this? I'm going in my room." So, they were all talking about preparations had to be done today, and it was more or less keeping me in good spirits. After breakfast, I was sent on straight to my room. And then I came downstairs to get a water. Steve arrived. Didn't know Steve arrived, so both Father Peter and Father Steve said, What you doing downstairs? Go back upstairs. You could have messaged us and tell us something and da 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 da. Just grabbed the water, went up to my room. I was blocked out of society for the day.
That was
So,
my job. My job was to stand at the door like the angel at the at the Garden of Eden with
mhm,
the flaming sword. No one comes in, no one gets out.
no one
That
gets
was my
out.
job.
That was his job. Right? But mind you, if anybody knows me, I could be a trickster. So there were moments where it is that I really just wanted to go in the living room, which was not too far from the bedroom, and it was like dodgeball. Like I couldn't move. Steve was just like, "Where you think you're going? Where you think you're going?" I was like, "I just want to
Well,
go
well,
there."
well. In my defense, that was why I was called. Number one and two, you were making a game out of it as well. Like, Steve, can you get that for me in the cupboard? That's so good. But by the time back, it's gone.
Well, something had to give. Something had to try. Um, I was so wicked that day. Um, Once it worked once, right? But it worked unintentionally, intentionally. How do I explain
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. No, the time I let you leave the room, I was in the cupboard going looking for something. I don't even remember what
I
you
think
asked me to
I
look
think
for.
I think
I
it
was
was my
looking for
pants.
whatever it was. I don't remember.
I
And then
can't
I
remember.
hear that I see you run to the door and leave, and I just didn't care anymore at that moment. I was like, "You leave, you leave. You have to come back. You have to come back. You go."
So by new, all I did was I went to the living room and I felt like I don't know if you all know the allegory of the cave, where it is that they were stuck in a cave for so many years and all they saw were shadows. And then when they came out and they saw the light, that's what I felt like. I saw the light. And I was like, okay, I can't see what's going on downstairs anyway because the whole up floor is blocked. So like, okay, fine, and just go back in my room. Went back in my room now. Steve is in the cupboard complaining. He must come back. He must come back. This Conyon, they must come back. So when I came back, now Steve is short, but Steve has a lot of
Okay.
strength for someone who is short and Dutch. So it's like he's like, you leave this room again. You leave this room again. And I was just like, oh, lay not your hand on the Lord's anointed, soon to be.
Not yet.
And then you was like, not yet. I was like, but
Well, at that moment, something you didn't know. Father Steve called me downstairs to give a little help with something, and he asked me, uh, "How do you think this looks?" And I was like, "It looks good. I hope David likes it." No, he didn't see it. He didn't see it yet. Let him not see it. And I was like, Well, he saw it in the camera.
these snakes in the
He saw it in
grass,
the other thing." And he was like, "No, you left him out of his room."
these snakes in the grass, I'm not even going there, right? So anyway, jumping ahead later to the evening, so I'm getting dressed, finished my painting, which was a painting for the Archbishop, which was um, a more or less artistic twist on the prodigal son.
Which, by the way,
which
people, he painted that day. He started painting it that day and he finished it that day. It was
mhm,
a thing done on that moment, or that I was there and I saw how it went from
start to finish.
start to finish, and it was
Hmm.
nice, and it was a good way for you to spend your time in
Hmm.
quiet, because
And
I
prayer.
wasn't, well, I would talk, but still in prayer, and I would see you how you would contemplate on that painting. And for
Hmm.
me, I must admit, it was nice, and as I told Father Steve, it was beautiful to see you in that state of calm,
Hmm.
in that state of very, very calm, waiting for the time to pass by while you were painting.
Yes, and even Desiree gave me honey and lime. Big up Desiree.
Yes, yes, you made honey and lime.
Hmm. Hmm. Although some people drank it and they was like, it's like you don't have a
Yeah.
sore throat. Why are you drinking this? It's so. Anyway, moving along, going swiftly down to the ceremony. I'm coming downstairs.
Well,
I'm lit.
something else happened before this the ordination with regarding a certain shoe, but I'm going to tell that story tonight.
Actually, yes. Actually, yes. So the big comic relief of the ordination was, and I think everybody should be laughing at this, was the price
Well,
tag remained under my shoe. But there's a whole story behind why the price tag remained under my shoe. And the thing
no, there's
is
a whole
that,
story regarding the shoe.
listen,
There's a whole story regarding the shoe.
Steve has been itching because, it was like me did my dragon part first and then he had his last laugh afterwards and was like,
I had the laugh, and I'm still laughing about it, and I still happy that it turned out like that, because sushi pabo. That's all I say.
so it started off, I think was out about a few days before the new year. Um,
Yeah, the 30th.
yes, it was the 30th. I told Steve, well, if we're going in the mall, right? Because I told him anything a shoe. Now, this is a minor confession. A shoe was already bought for me for the ordination. But in looking at it, I was saying, maybe I could get a second option just in case, and we could balance it off.
Okay, so let me just stop you there and say something for for my sake and his.
Hmm.
If you are a friend of mine, and if you ask me to accompany you, me and my cousin, the same thing when it comes to this. If you are going to ask us, we need something, I need a piece of something to buy, a clothes or whatever, we will
Hmm.
look for that until the end of the day if needed, and we
Hmm.
will get something for you. You're not leaving the store without nothing. We will make sure, and we will pull all the way. But anyway, continue the story.
Steve wants to win this story so bad, even though I gave him the
I know.
trophy.
I won already. I won
Exactly.
already.
Even though I gave him the trophy, but he's so
Go,
itching
go,
to
go, go,
tell
go,
the.
go on. Tell the story. Tell the story. Tell the story.
Anyway, so that evening we went to Trinity Mall. We looked. We found a shoe that we both agreed on. It was within price range, and we said yes. Did not fit.
After
And
10 stores.
after 10, well, actually, no, we didn't go in all 10. I went into some before, so I had an idea of, what was necessary, what didn't have my size, etc. Because my foot is, bigger than usual. And, well, it's an okay size for my height. I could put it that way, right? But for others, it might be cornea too big. Am I in a robot too long? Anyway, um, so, um, right.
Reverend, I remind you that that is a cut word, no?
Oh, now that you tell me that, my apologies.
Like you didn't know.
I didn't know. Anyway,
No.
uh,
Okay.
but stop
Don't
using it
worry.
around me
The
so
Reverend
much.
lying and cutting at the same time. Keep telling the story.
A shame. Anyway, true my mosquito's fault. Anyway, um, yeah. So we left that mall and we went to the mall behind it, and we said, okay, well, we see the shoe that we want. Maybe the other branch would have it. No problem. So we went to the mall. We went to the particular branch, and this is where I
Yeah,
won
you
the.
laugh.
This is where I. This is where I won the argument. Like for that part of it. The rest of it, you can give it to him now. Just give it to him. So we went into a particular brand name store in this mall. Not gonna call the name because I don't want to get sued. And lady was really nice, everything. And then this one decides, you know what, I'm going to take an opportunity to Desiree stop fighting this. Anyway, so this one decides he's going to take the opportunity to, look for a shirt jack, but he sees something close to a shirt jack without looking at the price. So I said, okay, no problem. So he's picking it up, probably a little Christmas money he
This
have. He
has
could.
nothing to do with the shoe. I don't know
I
why.
am going with the story, so deal with it. Good? Good.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, so we went in the store. We saw the shoe. They didn't have the size. They didn't have the color, right? They had brown. So I was like, can't serve in a brown shoe for the audition. Cool. We found
Definitely
a
not.
we found a black shoe with a blue insoling, a very nice blue insoling. So it's like, okay, cool. It's probably around the same price because the price tag is not on it, and it's on the same line with the price set and fixed. Tried it on. It looked different on my foot. I said, you know what? This looks nice. No problem. Reaches to the cashier, and this is where the issue started to kick. I thought the price was two zeros. The price ended up being three zeros. So I
No, well,
said,
two zeros, but two digits in front of the two zeros.
well, two zeros, but two digits in front. Very good. Very good. At least he
Mhm.
remembers
I
that
remember
part.
it right. Don't
So
puzzle.
when I heard the price, I said, so I'm literally giving signs that I don't want to buy it. Right? So this one is saying, I can give you half of the money and no, I can pay it back for you. And I'm like, no. And I'm
Because
trying to,
people, a man is getting ordained only once in his life. Have a treat. But anyway,
hey, cool it. You already won the argument. Okay, take a lemonade and drink it. Okay, but this argument, I won. Okay, good. So I'm literally pointing to the star with this one, and I'm like, I'm not buying a shoe for such and such amount of money. So he's there trying to convince me, you could pay me back, I'm just gonna give you the money and da, 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 you could buy it and whatever the case may be. And I'm just like, you're not doing this. It's not reading me at all. Like he's like completely deaf at this point in time. So the lady is there and she's just watching the two of us going back to back, buy it, don't buy it, don't buy it, don't buy it, don't buy it. So it's like, whatever. So at this point, I was like, you know what? I'll come back. I'll come back. I'll see if I can gather some whatever money I have at home and come back tomorrow. Then he
which he was not
continues
planning to do.
until he comes and he's like, the show will be sold out tomorrow. You don't even know what's going to take place, and he's going up in a whole hullabaloo, right? So after this now,
I
I'm
accept.
there. So after this now, I'm trying to remain my cool because it's my foot it is going on, not his. Okay? Walks
Okay,
outside,
okay.
walks
I win
outside.
the last argument.
You know what? People at home, maybe you could tell us who won the argument. But anyway, I digress.
I won the argument because you didn't even start it yet. You telling all of this, this is nothing.
You're wasting time. Anyway, anyway, so going into it, right? Um, one of the seminarians' mothers was outside the mall sitting there. So he goes out and he was like, "We found a shoe. We find a shoe for him." I mean, it's
Wait,
like
wait, wait,
he,
wait. You forgot when my light switch went on when I saw the price of the shirt that I wanted, and I was like, wait,
right, home skillet over here was insistent and mandating that he wanted to buy the shit. I'm looking at him and I'm literally squinting my eyes and they read the room kind of a scene. And I'm like, it is 400 and something dollars for the shirt. What? He looks down, he looks up, he tried to convert it into his money at home. Oh no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no, no,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
put
no,
it
no,
floating. Put it back,
David,
put it back, put
David,
it back.
that's a lot of money. Put it back, put it back, put it back, put it back. I was like, Jesus, Mary. So we end up leaving the store with nothing. Literally nothing. I feeling bad that I stretched out the shoe to 15 and but anyway, moving forward. Um he goes outside, he's quarreling with the seminary well, quarreling with me to the seminarian's mother. And when I turn around I watch the mother and I was like, the shoe is amount of dollars. He's like, oh no, 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 no. Madness, madness, madness. Da, 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 da. He's still fighting, saying I should take the damn shoe. And I'm over here like, read the room, read the room, read the room. I don't have
As
11.
I mentioned before, when we want to buy something, we buy the something. We go all out for the something. Can I continue the story?
I'm going ahead. So the mother told us go to the next store, which is further down the road. Go to the store. Both of us see a shoe, which is the shoe I wore that night, and I'm looking at the size, and I'm like, so I'm there. I'm contemplating. He's boiling mad because we
Boiling,
because
boiling,
right.
boiling.
Meanwhile, the
Because I see
cashier.
he's seeing the shoe. I know that he likes the shoe. I can see it in his face. He likes the shoe. He wants the shoe. But there's something. No, I won't buy it. I'll buy
I,
it tomorrow. The more stupid he sees, the more I buy.
right? So he's boiling, but at the same time, too, I know somebody who wanted to buy the shoe for me from this particular store. So I didn't want to invade them that hour of the evening, but I know I had the cash. So I messaged that person while we were, doing the whole transaction. And Steve is just there boiling, and the cashiers are laughing at
Boiling,
him because they
boiling. The poor lady was standing. The poor lady was standing, looking at us, and I say, David, I still talking calm at this moment. No?
exactly.
David, do you like it? Yes. It's just 13. 13 is not my size. It will be too big. And the lady is like, well, try it on, no? And no, I don't want to try it on. And by the fifth argument, I look at the lady and pack it. Just pack it. Pack it. We take it. Pack it.
So this is where he starts to win the argument, right?
Yes. So I
If
changed. Now I tell you the rest of the story now.
go ahead, go
I tell.
ahead.
So that happened on the 30th, on the first day of the year. The first line we went before he got sick. Desiree is a witness of this. He start going on. The first thing he start talking about is how Steve forced him to buy a shoe that is too big,
I didn't
a
say
shoe that doesn't
force. I
fit.
said you
No, 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 no. I
almost,
talking now.
you.
That the shoe is too big. That he forced me to buy the shoe, and this and this and this, and Steve this and Steve that, and I sitting there like, okay, okay, this how it's gonna be the first day of the year, no problem.
Jesus, Jesus.
Fast forward, fast forward 45 minutes before the ordination, people. 45 minutes before the ordination, someone is going to put on a shoe that is not the shoe that we bought,
Nope.
but he wants to put on another shoe, which I have no problem. By that time, I already gave up on the shoe. And guess what happened? The shoe doesn't fit. And there we
Because
are. There I am on the floor, 10 minutes trying to fit the shoe like Cinderella
now,
for the shoe not to fit. And he
wait,
goes into the cupboard.
pause before you go there. Now, early on in the day, which was before Steve came, I tried it on for safe measure. It fit, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, okay,
But wise, no? Wise. He tried it on without sock.
I tried it on without sock and it fit
Very,
perfectly.
very wise. Very
Perfectly,
wise.
it slipped in right. The socks I had on that evening was in dedication to my deceased brother, which I
Mhm.
had in mind from since way back then to put it on.
Mhm.
What
Which
Steve
would take
doesn't
socks as
know,
well.
what Steve doesn't know, and it was to my comical relief that evening as well, is that he was on his way from seminary to Sandy Grande via Father Jeffrey to spend Old Year's into New Year's with me.
Mhm.
I made the pass and I said, it had a detours in Grandy, forgetting that Steve was on the phone. So I had to convince Steve that this is the deacon confessing here. I had to convince Steve that I was not
Look,
going
look
into
how wicked he
detour.
is, no? He's wicked. Look how wicked he is. Wicked.
So that day, I had to convince Steve that I that I was not going to exchange the shoe. But when I went into the store, I muted the phone and I told them I get on a call. And at that point in time,
Wicked.
I went at that point in time, I exchanged the shoe. So instead of it being the bigger size, I got it to the size that fit me. And I tried it on and I told the lady, could you please put it back? Like how you got it? Because I'm trying to surprise a brother. So she stuck it back and fit it exactly as it was. So I knew the shoe was going to fit. However, back to Steve's story now.
So he goes into the cupboard. He goes into the cupboard and pulls out the shoe. And now the shoe fits. And now I start ranting, and Father Steve in the room as well,
I had to go to
about how
confession afterwards. But anyway, go
I
ahead.
had I had to listen to this man on New Year's Day go on about how I forced him to buy the shoe, how I forced him to buy the shoe, how I forced him to buy the shoe, and all of the other nonsense. For guess which shoe he has to wear now is that shoe. And then for him to walk through the altar, lie flat on the floor, and the price tag still
It's still on the
on the
shoe.
bottom
While
of
both of us were just there, like, you know. And then he proceeds to send me a video after the ceremony to say, David, I think I forgot to take off the price tag off the shoe. And I was like, no. But anyway, that became the trending topic of the evening for a perfect ordination. The one thing that everybody focused on, why was the price tag still on the shoe? And why is the discounted price still on the shoe? Which was not much of a
and bright
discount.
orange, no? Bright orange.
Bright orange, bright white. And then there was a little circle that I don't know where that came from. But
But
interestingly
speaking in all
enough,
seriousness now, speaking
interestingly
in all
enough,
seriousness,
before we go to seriousness, interestingly enough, at the end of the ceremony, the two blasted stickers came off.
well, yeah, their mission was accomplished.
And I found it this morning in front of the church. So I said,
Oh
all
God.
those hugs that I got, there's the price tag.
So moving to a serious note now, um, how was the feeling during the ceremony?
If-
Let's remember the time that is going very fast now. It's already 10 past 9, and but still, what I didn't have the chance to talk to you about this yet because after that I had to leave and here and whatever.
right.
But which part was the most moving part? Which part was the most beautiful part? Which part was the most sentimental part?
All these questions at one time. Um, for me, I think the whole thing was a rhythm of ecstasy. I think that when I was coming down the stairs, I felt like a bride. Like I never felt that feeling before. Like, it was just one movement after the next. And, then I went into a room when the Archbishop was just waiting for everybody to process and then, being escorted out and going into the church and then the choir lifted and my knees started to shake because I was like, David, this is real. Like, this is real. It's no longer in your fantasy. It's no longer in your mind anymore. Everything is real. And I remember Father Kenman just telling me, David, enjoy the motion, enjoy the moment. And I I went into the church shaking. Like my knees was just like if I needed a talk for Christmas, I could have used my knees. It was shaking that much. And by the time I got to the middle of the church, not even in middle, sorry, while I was in the back of the church, I shared this with Stephanie and Steve last night. I felt my brother Michael, who passed away in 2024. And I just felt him just saying, bro, I love you, let go. And by the time I reached the middle of the church, the voice started to faint and I let go. And there were moments where I think one of the altar servers thought I was nervous, like, and really and truly, all I was doing was trying to remember which number am I supposed to say the change for. I do with the help of God, and I just remember. Um, I remember he was speaking to me, and I felt like the entire church was not there. It just felt like it was just me and the bishop at that point in time, and then all of a sudden, I felt like my mother was in the back, and it's like I'm hearing her praying, and that's when I felt like one person got into the room, and then there was a part of the homily where I just felt like everybody came roaring back in, and I really felt like God was there, you know. Um,
Excuse me.
when I ended up on the oh, that's a good question. Deacon David, what was your thoughts when you were called up for the rite of ordination?
How you
Um,
doing, Ethan?
um, at that point, I remember my whole life flashed before my eyes, like from childhood, playing priest with my brother and sister, first communion, youth ministry, confirmation, UE, degree, going into seminary. My whole life just flashed before my eyes. And it was like this sentimental piano that was just playing in my head. So I was like, I was editing a movie in my head while all this was going on. But it just felt like the spirit was just moving. And what happened, um, it's like the whole world just stopped and the vows were being said. And I'm hearing each one word for word. But in my mind, I was just remembering this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one, this is the fourth one, this is the fifth one. Okay, I reached the sixth one. I do by the help of God. But um, at that point, it was like, okay, when my hands intersect with the bishop's hands to swear my allegiance to the bishop and those in leadership and all those sort of questions that he asked, my nerves just went, they just died. And I just heard live in the moment. And after that, it was like the choir ministered to me for the litany. And while the litany was going on, it took me back to a moment where I was on retreat before entering the pre-seminary program. And it took me to like I was in the water for some time in Morocco. It was Maracas or Las Cuevas. And while I was in the water, my attire changed into the same alb that I had on that evening, not knowing. And I clicked and I was like, it's the same alb. I was like, God was showing me this entire moment up to now. It's the same alb. And while I was on the ground, um, it really just felt like it was at that moment that God was calling and was calling and was like, David, let go of the world. Come to me, come to me, come to me. And at that moment, I think I started to shed some tears. I was like, this is real. This is so real. Um, and then when I got up, I was like, my eyes were just red. Just like wiping it. I didn't fall asleep or anything. It was just tears. And I was like listening to all the saints and, listening to this thing and it just ministered to me. Um, And then after, when the Dalmatic went on, which was a, a comedy in itself, I just felt like my mother was muttering at that point in time because she's like, no, it's all wrong. You have to turn it this way and this way. And then my stool fell. And I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? The fall of Babylon or something? So, um, and so Franklin picked it up, put it on me, and then they got the Dalmatic one correct. And I was like, you could have at least fixed the color. And I'm just hearing Father Steve in the back of my head saying, oh God, fix the man properly now, fix the man, fix the man. And then Father Steve is like telling me, Father Jason nudge him and say, relax, he have this, relax. Um, it's only when the bishop said, peace be with you, and he held me, everything fit. Everything, like the stool, the color popped, the everything just slide into place. And I was like, there's my sign, peace. And then for the entire ordination, it was just like peace flowed. It was like peace, peace, peace throughout. What was overwhelming, and I think you know which part was overwhelming for me, was talking about my mother. Oh, see, that happened. Um, I wasn't totally prepared to talk to my mom like that. And, it was like my heart was full, and the spirit was like, it's time to tell your mother how you truly feel. And, it's like she was a little worried when Granny, Granny died, and she was very heavy when her father died. And, prayer was her comfort, her support, her everything. And coming into my last year doing thesis and whatnot, she was literally Monica and I was Saint Augustine. And she prayed and she prayed and she prayed.
Mhm.
And everything I said about her that evening, it's like it emptied from my heart and it went to her. And hmm. and
We
then
see that Father Hirosen said something there.
hello father. What did he say?
Uh,
I still feel the
uh,
emotion like the first day of my ordination 21 years ago. Wow. And I could relate to that now, even though it was just days ago for me. But I can relate to that too, Father. I think
but
it's something
I
that you have
sure,
to experience.
I'm sure that that emotions or that feeling that you felt that day will not leave you for the rest of your life. You will always, and I think one of the a good advice is especially when things go become hard, when things start becoming hard.
Hmm.
Look back for that feeling, huh?
Hmm.
That feeling that you felt at that moment, which is the drive, which is one of the driving forces for your
Hmm.
ministry.
Hmm. And one thing I could tell, and I think this is a pitch for young men, senior men, men who think, it's too late for me. Um, One thing I learned in these years of being in formation to diaconate is that you come with your own agenda, known to you or unknown to you. You come with it. And you feel like as the priesthood should be this, it should be that, seminary formation should be this. One of the beautiful things that was told to me at the beginning was to trust the process. Trust the process. And that fought with me for 6 years straight. And trusting the process means you have to let go of your ego. You have to let go of what you know and enter into something that you don't know. Trusting in a Christ that knows you and knows why you're here. And seminary formation does not guarantee you that you're going to be a deacon or a priest at the end of the formation. The aim of seminary formation is to transform the man within to enter into the the grace of Jesus Christ and to understand what is his purpose for you. A lot of people come with the intention of, okay, I'm going into this and I'm going to be a priest. And that's your ego speaking. And you have to go into this saying, I am going to surrender to the will of God, to bend my heart to the will of the Father. And whatever is His call upon my life during my time in the seminary, then that's the call. That's the intention. I'm going to follow it until the Spirit tells me, go elsewhere. Discern it with your spiritual director, discern it with your formator. Be open with them, because we have reached a place where it is that we treat discernment like confession. And we see confession, the priest going and tell my business from the altar, the priest going and do this, the priest going and do that. And the thing is that if a priest ever does that, what they're doing is calling the sin. They're not saying you committed the sin. And that's where we have fallen into the trap in society to say that, I'm not going to take confession from my parish priest. I'm going somewhere else. In formation, the same thinking and the same mentality can apply. Where it is that if I tell my formator or my spiritual director this, it going back to reach here and it going and spread left, right, center, blah, 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 blah. No. There's a thing called internal and external forums of control. And anything that is said in the internal forum by Bible stays in the internal forum. Anything in
Mhm.
the external forum that is between you and was shared for the external. And for most part of it, it's internal and it's helping you to grow. Because if you hold on to that throughout your seminary formation, if you hold on to that throughout your time where you're supposed to discern, pray, study, focus, um, you're letting go of the world for a little bit because you've been in the world for so long. You had your chances to do the wrong, to do what you think is comfortable, to follow the ways of the world. You're changing that lifestyle now to enter into a lifestyle that is completely weird and unknown to you. And in following that life, because you're thinking, okay, God is calling me. You're living to God's life. You're not living to your life. You're living to God's life. So entering into this formation process, you should be able to radically just say, here's what I'm putting my trust into this. They are there to help me grow, because they are the experts, not you. You could read how much things online, you could read how much encyclicals, you could follow the Pope 24/7, you could follow the Apostolic Fathers, the you could follow the apologetics, everything you could follow. But if you don't submit to the will of the Father, then this formation thing is not going to work out for you and you're going to crash and
Mhm.
burn
Mhm.
quickly.
Mhm.
And another thing is, you see that commandment Jesus left us, the one commandment in comparison to the 10 and the 613 that we get in the old? Follow that. Follow that. Love. Love one another. Love in a radical way. Love till it hurts. I had that problem. I had that issue because I let go once, I let go twice, and it was broken. My heart was shattered. I felt like I couldn't trust anybody again. And all that is involving in trusting the process. And, you know, when you love, hate and fear and all these things that cloud your judgment slowly disappears. And you realize that the process is really what it is. So, yeah.
Beautifully said. Nathan says, um, I would say you are an inspiration to me, Deacon David. I always remember from Father Greg's first mass last year, where I told you I wanted to be a Carmelite, and you, like a brother, you told me that can be me one day.
I think I remember that. I think I do.
So,
I remember that. I remember that. And the thing is that there's a song that stuck with me in my final year. There's a song by Barris Hammond, and they worry what the people say when they see me with you. And those words stick with me because If you're going into this worrying what other people think about you going into this vocation, you'll fall. You'll fall so flat on your face. And then His grace is going to look at you and be like, so you take it on what other people saying about your vocation, what you were called to, but you're not focusing on what the vocation is requiring of you, which is to pray,
Mm-hmm.
which is to talk to your spiritual directors and your formators, which is to go to confession regularly, which is to do everything that is required for you to focus on your vocation. You're worrying about what other people say. So, you know, you have to go into this knowing what you're about, who you are. At least have a basic understanding of who you are and allow the process to bend you, to break you, to form you, to reform you, to restructure you. And you will see. Some people might think, it's modern day slavery, you're letting another man tell you how to live your life. And it's like, no, it's not. It's Bible. It's life. It's
And
the way of life that has been there even before Christ. It was given. So think.
and contrary to what they believe, it is total freedom.
So it's
It's
radical surrender. It's radical surrender, total freedom. Correct.
mm, total freedom. Well, this is not the end.
It's not.
One ordination down, one to go. You have now the time to rest, hopefully, for a little bit, before the ministries start to kick in. And then before you know it, it's time to prepare for the next ordination, which would be the priestly ordination. And after that, again, it didn't end, because then your priestly life would start, and that would continue until you don't know yet. We don't know yet.
When it's a priestly ordination, you don't know these things right after you're
Oh, yeah.
diaconate. You have to do the work first before. But
Yes.
who knows? Another video might drop before. We don't know. We will see. Um, but I read a comment earlier. I think I needed to read it out. And I think this is dedicated to the brothers at this particular time. So there's a part of it that says the seminarians did a fantastic job. It was a prayerful and joyful celebration. And that's from my cousin Allison. Without a doubt, you'll pray through that mass in song. Now, I know it was really and truly a demanding request because at the time period that I've asked y'all to, particularly after exams, y'all are trying to unwind and, relax and everything like that. And then here up comes your former brother asking y'all to sing for the ordination.
Don't make no story or trying to think. As soon as you asked, this entire house was like,
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
wait. You see, you just shoot in the gun. What I'm trying to say is, before the gun got shot, is that I'm truly grateful and appreciative, and words cannot express how much that you all have changed the feeling of fear, of anxiety, and bringing peace into this ordination with your voices. You all have no idea how much you all have ministered to the people of God on that day. The young men who are probably excited now to join the seminary because they see what men of our age category can do in this 21st
Come on,
century.
we have room. We have room.
We have room, right? Just totally surrender, totally become what Christ has conformed you to be. It sounds easy in words, but trust me, when you reach in the house, it's a different kettle of fish because you're living with
No, no,
men.
that's very true. We'll leave that for another conversation.
You're living, yeah, exactly, right?
But
But
but but as you mentioned before, it is complete surrender and complete trust in God that whatever may happen around you, whatever may be happen outside of these walls or inside of these walls, it's surrender to the process and keep focusing on Christ, which is the main focus that you should be having anyway.
that's
Don't
right.
focus on everything else.
Don't focus on everything else. Right. And also too, even if you're not thinking of priesthood, think of Christ. Because Christ came as man. He, according to Philippians, he he surrendered to himself and became one of us. And it's one of my favorite scriptures because it was for my final for Pauline. Though he was in the form of God, Jesus did not count equality with God as a thing to be grasped, but emptied
Something to be
himself,
glad.
taking the form of a slave. And slave is so much different then in comparison to what it is now. Slave has become a negative connotation now. Slave back then means radical surrender to God. And that's what you are called to do, whether you choose to become a priest or not. You are called to be one of radical surrender, one of just letting go. I mean, holding on to things that darkens your spirit is not required of man. And you're taking that into a seminary formation. Nothing is wrong with that, but you have to have some sort of, some clarity and understanding of the spirit when it comes to that. And I can minister to that whole evening, but I wouldn't do that. Just give God a try, and you would see the rest happen.
Hmm. It starts with like you said in your video, your invitation video. It starts with a yes, and it goes on from there. Well,
Yes,
Reverend, it
brother.
was nice having this chat with you. I think I can speak for everyone who is watching if we can ask for your blessing before we go to bed.
All right. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. May the Lord bless you, and may the Lord keep you. May he
Amen.
shine his light upon you during this time. May he bring peace, love, joy, and prosperity to all that you do in this life to glorify and honor him throughout the people of God and throughout all the earth. And as you lay your head to rest this evening, I recall to mind all that you have done, all that you have said, all that you have thought, and place it before the Lord at this time and let it go. For you have ended this day and are about to enter in a new day through Christ. We ask Christ to guide you through your sleep and bring you to new life, into new freshness of hope, of peace, of joy. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Rev.
Thank you. Still trying to get accustomed to this rev thing, but it's working.
So I think we will see each other one day. We don't know
Hmm.
when.
No, it may be soon.
As
It
you
may
can,
be, maybe
you,
soon.
it may be soon. It may be as soon as next week. It may be as far off as when Christ comes back. But we don't know. And thank
Crazy.
you for accompanying us during this
Hmm.
hour and a half, hearing
Hmm.
Reverend David's
He's getting accustomed to
story.
her. Hmm.
Yeah, I have to, at least in public, and hearing Reverend's story on how the last month went by and all of the graces and challenges he had went through. And thank you for your blessing. And we hope to see each other soon in the next podcast.
Yes. Yes, we are hoping to keep the podcast going alive, at least this year. I think the ordination sparked it. And we hopefully in future episodes, we might bring people on, to join us on this live and, have their say because even though it starts off with two seminarians. Well, sorry, one seminarian, one deacon. Still had to get accustomed to that. But we did
No,
start
well,
off as two
yeah,
seminarians in the beginning. This is an invitation for all of us to partake in this. So, with that,
right.
we done.
Yes, we say good night,
Hmm. Good
and we
night,
hope to
everyone.
see you all soon.
And we hope to see you all soon. Well, next week, Steve is on retreat, so it might be the following week.
Yeah. All right, I forgot about that retreat. Yes.
Hmm. Or it might be on Monday. Who knows?
Oh gosh, the days are going
It's
by
so
so fast.
quick. Exactly. It's only Thursday. Anyway, let's not think about that too quickly.
Yeah.
So this is
Good.
David and Steve. Well, Steve and
Reverend D.
David. Reverend Deacon David and Seminary Steve signing out.
Signing out.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, people.
All right. And that's that. Oh, no, I was watching all this time. Oh, I got maximum 14.